Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man, and today we are talking about canned air. It's not really canned air. It's what we call it, but there's not air in there. There's stuff, chemicals and things and stuff. Anyhow, this is the common household version of, they call it duster. And I get this at Walmart. You can get it online, Amazon, everybody has it. But there's all sorts of information out there floating around about these guys. You'll have people telling you, whatever you do, don't use it. Oh my gosh, don't use it. And some people say, don't use it and be careful, or you can use it, but here's why you want to be careful. So let's cover that real quick. I tell folks to use this, but be careful with it. There's two different kinds that I'm familiar with. The commercial, it's actually called HFC 134A. It's a different version of the propellant that's in here. What's in here is HFC 152A, which is the consumer version. The commercial version for the folks who do real high-tech electronics is the HFC 134A, which actually is called tetrafluorethane. Tetrafluorethane. That's what the high dollar stuff is. The high dollar stuff costs about $385 a case. A case of 12, so you're looking at about $34 a can. This is $7 a can because it's difluorethane. It's a different formula altogether. This is less expensive, but you got to be careful with it because it can be flammable. Whenever you work on a machine that has a motor that has an armature and motor brushes that spark, before you work on it, you want to disengage the power cord. I wouldn't fool with turning it on and off because you might goof up and have it on low speed, high speed, hit the wrong button. Disconnect the power cord. Take it loose from the wall, take it loose from the machine, and then you don't worry about accidentally stepping on the gas pedal and causing a spark, because this stuff will spark in a enclosed area. Got to be careful with it. Doesn't happen often, but if it happens once, that's too much. Now, this stuff has a propellant, and it's supposed to be used in short blast. I will use it in conjunction with tweezers. And if I see something hiding back there, I just go like this, lightly, 1, 2, 3. And I'm done. And I see if it's back in there waving at me. You see a little piece of fuzz and lint back there, you'll see it waving at you. You reach in, you grab it, pull it out. You reach in, you grab it, pull it out. Sometimes you use your trusty flashlight to reach in there. Oh, there it is. Oh, I see it. There it is. And you grab your tweezers, you reach in, you pull it out. You don't want to blast it real hard. You blast it real hard, you'll get it really cranking, and the can will get really cold. And what you've done then is you converted all this area in here. See, there's liquid down the bottom that's propellant, and all this is air. If you really blast it, this will get real cold, and it'll stop blasting. You think, oh, it must be empty. Well, you'll shake it, it's still stuff in there, but it has to be room temperature to make this gas, make this liquid turn into a gas. So you want to keep it warm, but not hot, and you let it warm back up to room temperature, and you're back in business again. But just give it a 1, 2, 3. And you got to be careful also if you tilt it. Watch what happens. Uh-oh, you don't want to see that. That is your propellant coming out because it sits on the bottom. And when it gets up to the spigot there, it comes out. And that stuff will cause a disaster for a lot of things. It'll freeze your fingers. It's like minus 50 degrees when it comes out there. It's very cold. It'll injure you. And it'll melt plastic. I've seen machines that customers have brought to me where they had the little speed slider up there for your low and high speed, and they just, they're blasting away, and they're this and they're that, and then they get carried away, and then they blast that, and it melts it down. And I have to get an X-Acto knife, razor blade, and slice it back open and get it to slide again. And I think that was on a Brother machine that had the real thin plastic there. So there's a lot of plastics like this right here. This is not melting. This is not melting. That's plastic. But there's different kinds of plastic, different layers, different thicknesses, and some can be susceptible to being melted and some not. So when you're using this stuff, if you want to get the high dollar stuff, that's $30, $5 a can, be my guest. It's pretty nice stuff, and you can spray it on electronics. Again, you don't want to tilt the can. You don't want spraying any kind of propellant out. But if it's in an upright position, so you're getting air, not air, but, you know, the inert gas in there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just get it fluttering at you, so it'll give you a wave, so you're not looking at really bearing down on it. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, the can will get real cold, and it'll actually ice over. And you're like, okay, we're done. So you never shake these. Don't tilt these. When mine's riding around in the truck, back there in my toolbox, before I use it on a customer's machine, I always clear it to make sure there's nothing coming out, and I stick to the metal parts. I won't go on plastic with this. There's just no reason to risk it. So don't freeze yourself. Don't start a fire. This is what we got. I get it at Wally World. It's called Falcon Dust Off, $7 a can. I know. It used to be $4, then it was $6, now it's $7. I think I'll go buy a couple cases, because by this time next year it'll be $15, because that's just the way things are going now. So I'll be buying futures and dust off dusters so we can work on machines. And when I go out in the field, I can't take an air compressor with me, so this comes in real handy. But you got to know how to use it. You don't want to be foolish with it. You don't want to be careless with it. You don't want to burn yourself, because the cold will burn. Minus 50 degrees coming out, it will burn you. So be careful with that. Short bursts. 1, 2, 3. Find it, pull it out. You're done. It's good stuff. I recommend it. Use it properly, and keep the can upright. All right.